All right, good evening. It is Mrs. Spence, the school counselor at County Road and Luther Lee. Welcome all Demarest families. I'm excited to be your mystery reader for tonight. I'm going to be reading chapters 22 through 25 tonight. Okay, so the first chapter, 22, Joe. It was an accident, Dylan tells Mrs. Beam when he comes back from dropping Ravi off at the nurse's office. Yeah, right. Selena Gervis, who is wearing her dorky Girl Scout uniform as usual, volunteers to pack up Ravi's stuff for him and take him down to the nurse's office. She accidentally drops Ravi's pencil case as she's trying to put it in his backpack, and the last of his 3 mechanical pencils goes rolling under the desk. Dylan sees it, and before Selena can bend down and pick it up, the pencil disappears down the front of his pants. She hunts around for it a little, but all she comes up with is a balled-up piece of paper. Crud! It's that silly cartoon that Dylan drew. Why hadn't I thrown it in the wastebasket instead of dropping it on the floor? Before I can do anything about it, Selena tosses the crumbled-up cartoon into Ravi's backpack and zips it closed. 2 seconds later, she's out the door and on her way down to the nurse's office. At 11:30, the lunch bell rings. Wednesday is chili day. Einstein's chili isn't nearly as good as my mother's, but the cornbread is decent, especially if you put a lot of butter on it. Mom is standing near the door in her red and white striped apron when I get to the cafeteria, but when she sees me, she looks the other way. I have to give her points for that. Ravi is nowhere in sight. He must still be at the nurse's office, or maybe he went home. I get my lunch and head for the empty table near the trash cans, but Dylan steps in front of me. It's a good thing Coach decided to call the game, he says. If we'd lost, you would have paid for it big time. I know, I say. You told me. He grabs a piece of cornbread off my tray and stuffs it in his mouth. His eyes are pinned on me like 2 thumbtacks on a bulletin board. What was it Mr. Barnes had said? The world is full of Dylan Samreens? I close my eyes and take a deep breath, trying to remember the rest. Wake up, putty tat, Dylan shouts in my ear. I jump and Dylan laughs, shaking the hair out of his eyes. I wonder how much time he spends in front of the mirror every day. In 4th grade, our desks had been right next to the windows, and I'd seen him checking out his reflection in the glass all the time. Once, Mr. Barnes and I caught him doing it at the same time, and we both had to try hard not to laugh. Thinking about that jump-starts my memory, and the rest of Mr. Barnes' advice comes flying back into my head. You have to find a way to keep him from getting to you, I whisper. What was that, Pud? Asks Dylan, grabbing another piece of cornbread off my tray. I look at Dylan and try to imagine that instead of a crocodile, he's a harmless little rodent like a mouse or a chipmunk. I never noticed it before, but his ears are actually kind of small and round and set high on the sides of his head. And with his cheeks stuffed full of cornbread, he does look like a chipmunk. All of a sudden, instead of feeling nervous, I start to laugh. Dylan's eyes aren't sparkling anymore. They're cold and dark, like 2 lumps of coal. You want to tell me what's so funny, Pud, he says, as he hitches up his saggy pants. I notice his boxers for the first time. All of a sudden, all of the things they could be decorated with today, polka dots or clover leaves, taxi cabs or buffaloes. He's wearing boxers covered with peanuts. Peanuts? My grandma has a family of chipmunks who live under her porch, and she always puts a bowl of peanuts out for them. Dylan Samreem, the crocodile-turned-chipmunk, standing there in his peanut boxers with his cheeks full of cornbread, pushes me right over the edge, and I totally lose it. I hadn't laughed this hard in a long time, and every time I think I'm done, I look at his little round ears and his peanut boxers. My stomach bunches up, and it starts all over again. I'm laughing so hard, I'm crying now. Dylan's an expert at dishing it out, but he hasn't spent much time on the receiving end. He is clearly not enjoying this. Kids are crowding around, laughing and shouting, and I don't even care that I don't have any earplugs in. This might be one of the all-time greatest moments of my life. I'm out of here, says Dylan. Mr. Barnes was right. I found a way to keep Dylan from getting to me, and it actually worked. For one perfect second, I feel like I'm standing on the top of the world, and then I hear the whistle blow. Break it up, my mom says, pushing her way through the crowd of kids. What's going on here? Joey, are you okay? When Dylan hears her voice, he turns around. His eyes are sparkling again. Poor Joey, he says. Here comes Mommy to save her little baby. Or maybe she needs to change his poopy diaper. Dylan looks like his old self again. He grins at me, shakes the hair out of his eyes, and walks away. So much for being on top of the world. I should have known it wouldn't have lasted. Once a zebra, always a zebra. I look at my mom and shake my head. She just doesn't get it. Don't be mad at me, Joey. I thought you were in trouble, she says. I'm your mother. What am I supposed to do? Just stand there and watch? No, I say. You're not supposed to be here at all. I've lost my appetite. I can't even remember the last time that happened. My mom has to go break up a food fight on the other side of the cafeteria, so I put in my earplugs, carry my tray over to the table by the trash cans, and sit down by myself. A minute later, Ravi shows up, carrying his jacket and his backpack. I guess he didn't go home after all. I don't expect him to want to sit with me, but I can't believe my eyes when he walks over to Dylan's table and sits down right beside him. Maybe that ball hit him harder than I thought, because I'm pretty sure he's lost his mind. All right, chapter 23, Ravi. How do you like Einstein so far, Ravi asks Dylan. Actually, it's pronounced Ravi, I say. Today has been my best day so far. I've been looking forward to eating lunch with you since day one. Did you hear that, Dink? He's been looking forward to eating lunch with me since day one. Isn't that nice? If you say so, says Tom Dinkins. Is that your lunch? Asks Dylan, pointing to the raita on my tray. I nod. There's vegetable curry too, I say. Let me guess. Did your mother make it? I nod again. Amma is a very good cook, I say proudly. Would you like to taste the curry? Dylan smiles at me and winks. You first, he says, handing me a spoon. Have you ever tasted chili before? In India, we call it rajma, I tell him, and it's served with rice. Yeah, well, this is American chili, says Dylan, pushing his tray towards me. Don't be shy. Take a nice big bite. I dip the spoon in the chili and put it in my mouth. It tastes horrible. It's oily and sour, and there's something strange and sandy about the texture. Dylan is watching me closely. Something about his eyes look different. They're glowing. What's the matter? Don't you like chili? Ravi? He asks. I shake my head. It doesn't taste like rajma, I say, unable to swallow the horrible substance. Must be all the hamburger meat they put in it, he says, slapping me on the back. I cough and spit the chili out on the table. What the heck? Says Jax, jumping up. I'm vegetarian. I cry, grabbing the sleeve of my jacket and wiping my tongue with it. I don't eat meat. For some reason, Dylan finds this funny. He starts laughing, and pretty soon all the boys around the table are laughing too. I don't think it's funny. Emma would cry if she knew. And Permina, I don't even want to think about what she would say. Dylan had made me taste beef. How could he do that? Didn't he know from my surname that I'm Hindu and eating beef is a sin? My head was spinning. You should see your face right now, says Dylan. It's hilarious. Almost as funny as it was right before I winged you with that ball. Dylan screws up his face, squinting as he imitates the way I must have looked, trying to play baseball without my glasses on. I don't understand what's happening. Why is he being so mean? Permad and I kidded with each other all the time, but never like this. Dylan starts rubbing his nose and imitating the way that I speak. What you are about to witness is pure magic, a secret handed down from ancient times, he says, exaggerating my accent. Is this how American friends treat one another? I don't know what to do. If I get up and leave, Dylan will think I'm a coward who can't take a joke. I decide it's best to sit quietly and wait for it to be over. I look at the lump of half-eaten chili sitting on the table. I can still taste it in my mouth. Maybe the buttermilk and Amma's curry will help to wash it away. I use my cloth napkin to wipe up the chili. I'll be sure to throw it away after lunch so Amma won't find any evidence of the chili. I'll also need to keep my shirt buttoned up to hide the bruise on my shoulder. As I open the bottom compartment of my tiffin box, a familiar waft of mustard seeds and onions drifts into the air, and I feel relieved. "Disgusting!" grunts Dylan. "What is that?" I dip my spoon into the rice, scoop some up, and hold it out for him. "It's vegetable curry with okra and chickpeas," I say. "Do you want to taste it?" He looks at me weirdly. "Dude, are you kidding?" he says and slaps the spoon out of my hand. "Do you think I want to stink like you, Curryhead?" he says. "You've been stinking up the place ever since you got here. I have to hold my nose whenever you walk by. We all do, right?" Tom Dinkins laughs. "You got that right, Dill," he says, waving his hand in front of his nose. I can't believe my ears. Is this really what Dylan thinks of me? What they all think? That I smell? How is that even possible when I take 2 showers a day, sometimes 3? If I smell of anything, it should be of sandalwood soap and coconut oil. Dylan winks at me and grins. He doesn't look like a movie star anymore. His crooked teeth and beady eyes remind me of Shakadi Kapoor, the most notorious villain in Bollywood. All of this I'd been assuming Dylan wanted to be my friend. All of this time, I'd been assuming Dylan wanted to be my friend, but I couldn't have been more wrong. "I bet his mother stinks of curry too," shouts Dylan over the laughter. "Everybody in that neighborhood does." My face burns and my legs are shaking like they are having a fit. I want to. 1. Punch Dylan Samreen in the nose. 2. Insult his mother. Or 3. Tell him he looks like Shakadi Kapoor. But here's what I did instead. 1. Pushed up my glasses and rubbed my nose. 2. Picked up my things. And 3. Run away as fast as I can. Dylan doesn't bother to follow me. I can hear him laughing his head off and slapping his sides. "Come back, Curryhead," he shouts. But I just run like I'm running for my life. Wow. So friends, I'm sure you guys can all imagine how Ravi is feeling right now. And I would hope that we could all be an upstander for him instead of being a bystander and just watching things like that happen if we ever experience that here at Luther Lay. All right, chapter 24, Joe. I don't know exactly what happened. All I know is that 1 minute Ravi is sitting at the table next to Dylan, and the next minute he's running out of the cafeteria so fast those white shoes of his are flying like a blizzard in a snow globe. "Come back, Curryhead," Dylan shouts. I could have told Ravi not to sit at that table, and I could have told him that it was only a matter of time before Dylan would come up with a mean nickname for him too. Ravi thinks I'm dumb, and I'm pretty sure he thinks I'm the one who tripped him. But I can't help it. I feel sorry for him. It's not easy being a zebra. In fact, it stinks. All right, chapter 25, Ravi. So here I am, in the boys' bathroom. It's the only place I could think of to go. After I wash my face and rinse my mouth, I look in the mirror and don't even recognize my own face. No one has ever humiliated me like this before. I thought Dylan Samreen wanted to be my friend. Luckily, no one else is here. All 3 cubicles are empty. I hang my backpack and jacket on a hook, pull down one of the toilet seats and sit down, clutching my tiffin box tightly to my chest. Everything has changed. I'm no longer the person I was before. I'm a Curryhead now. Curryhead who has no friends and can't speak English. Curryhead who smells bad and doesn't know how to do math or play baseball. At Vidya Mandir, I was like Dylan Samreen, a popular boy who everyone wanted to sit with in the lunchroom. Now I'm sitting on a toilet in the boys' bathroom, hiding from a bully. I think about Ramashami and how I teased him about his big belly, laughing when Mr. Das whipped him with a neem twig. Suddenly it dawns on me. I'm the Ramaswamy of Albert Einstein Elementary School. Curryhead, a loser and the butt of a joke. It seems I'm getting a taste of my own medicine. All right, friends, I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I enjoyed reading with you. Enjoy the rest of the book.